Hero Ice Golem. In a nutshell, Ice Golem will be the next hero coming to Clash Royale. You can find him in the hero gacha pool in your magic items tab. His ability is a Frost Nova circle around him for 2 elixir. This Frost Nova slows down every single troop and building for the entire duration that it lasts. It's important to note that the slowdown from this Frost Nova doesn't stack with stuff like Ice Wizard slowdown or whatever, but that doesn't mean it's completely useless with slowing cards because the third burst is basically a freeze with a shorter duration. The bursts themselves are not the one doing the slowing, as troops entering the zone in between them will be slowed down instantly. Instead, what they are there for is simply to deal decently high damage over a somewhat long period of time. It's enough to kill a minion on its own, so it's something to be worried about instead of dismissed as random chip damage. When combined with the death damage, it can kill archers or bombers, but it's unlikely since those cards are ranged. You thought we were done here? No, we're not. The ability had to have pushback for some reason. The pushback is only when they are close to the Ice Golem, but it will likely affect all melee troops anyway, with the exception of stuff that are immune to pushback since it doesn't push everything like the log does. The ability itself can't be cancelled. Even when the Ice Golem dies, it will simply apply the entire effect. It is not considered an active attack, so freezing it does not stop it. And for the 2 people that still use the card, it doesn't get buffed by Rune Giant. The only way to kinda have some influence on it is to move the Ice Golem away. Since the ability follows the Ice Golem, throwing him away with something will waste their freeze effect. Now, I feel like this ability isn't a must always activate since it's free value like Archer Queen and Mini P.E.K.K.A, so when using him, don't hyper focus on spamming it whenever you can. Instead, think of it as a small spell that you can tap and have it do certain things based on the situation. For example, Evo Bats used to be effective against Ice Golem Balloon when the opponent didn't have a small spell in hand, since they can out-heal the Death Explosion. With the hero Ice Golem, you will always have the option to activate the ability and kill the Evo Bats on command. Same goes for Swarm cards, as they can't use Goblin Gang to counter your Hog Rider anymore, even if your spell is out of cycle, because you can just tap the ability, kill every goblin and get like 250 damage on the tower. Since it's great against swarms, having an Ice Golem against a lava deck isn't only good to tank cards like Baby Dragon, but it will also deal with lava pups in a beautifully balanced way. And it completely screws up Graveyard. Honestly, it's kinda not even funny anymore. I think I low-key feel bad for Graveyard players. Oh, yeah, it's broken on defense as well overall, not just against swarms, because a prolonged slowdown followed by a freeze will screw up any push. The only inconveniencing thing is the fact that the freeze is the last burst, so it can't really bail you out like most spells do, but that's for the best. Even against bridge spam win conditions, timing it properly will push back a charging unit 3 times, so he alone can low-key just counter a win condition. And he is now much better at kiting, because some units are too fast, they used to be able to kill him and continue to the tower, but activating the ability will slow them down to the speed of the Ice Golem himself and prolong how deep you can kite the faster cards. Countering it can be very easy or very hard depending on what kind of deck you're running. With a cycle deck, most basic building placements will keep the Ice Golem out of reach of your tower, so all you have to do is commit a bit more on the Hog Rider. And in all honesty, a building alone is 3 to 4 elixir, while Ice Golem Hog with an ability is 8, so even if you had to Fireball, the trade would be even. Same goes for Balloon, which usually has a closer building placement, yet they still hold the Ice Golem far enough from your tower. Just be on the ready to play something else if they break your building with the Ice Golem ability. If you're playing a deck without buildings, honestly, I think it's a bit of a dire situation, since if you focus on taking out the Hog and the Ice Golem, the ability will always get so much value on your troops. And if you go on the support troops, then the Ice Golem will get on your tower and also slow the troops that are coming back to the Hog after killing the Musketeer. Low-key, I think just try to preserve their HP and do a big counter push, since spamming Hog with the ability drains so much of their elixir. For decks, I don't think there will be new decks that will start using it. Like, I don't think we will see Mega Knight Ice Golem or something. The main deck people think of when you say Ice Golem is Hawk 2.6, which is gonna feel decently strong with this hero, considering it's already broken in meta right now. One that people seem to sleep on is Balloon 2.9, and this hero will likely make it one of the best, if not the best deck in the game. Graveyard used to be the worst, most impossible matchup for this deck because they really had no way to deal with skeletons since Bar Barrel has smaller range compared to other small spells. Now, with Hero Ice Golem, they have a consistent graveyard counter that only costs 4 elixir and will likely give them a counter pushing Ice Golem with some HP. On top of that, many times against that deck, the opponent will play their Queen or Evo Executioner high to avoid having them lock on your miner. With Hero Ice Golem, they really can't do that because the moment they play a high Queen, it's the freest ability on their Queen and potentially their tower. And the damage from the ability can combo with the balloon damage, allowing it to one-shot things like Teslas instead of getting stuck on it for a while. Expo 2.9 might be back because we all know they started using Knight because Ice Golem is a worse card. But now, they can play Archers and Tesla for Evo and have Hero Ice Golem instead of a non-evolved Knight. Besides, Expo usually has only Archers and Tesla as their main defensive options, so if the opponent has arrows, you're typically screwed. Having to only count on Tesla usually doesn't work if the push is really big since the Knight can melt very quickly. But with the Hero Ice Golem, having double slow and a freeze at the end might make your Tesla near invincible, so it can be your main defensive plan if the opponent is playing triple small spell for your archers. I do think the one deck that might change is Lumberloon switching to Ice Golem Loon Freeze. On single elixir, having a 2-cost tank allows you to pressure without overcommitting too much, and if the opportunity presents itself, you can cheese some damage with an ability. And in double or triple elixir, having double freeze will be extremely good because overcommitting in sudden death is practically impossible. For king activations, it already was possible with Fisherman because of the death damage the Ice Golem had. The Hero Ice Golem would activate it with the ability anyway, but the problem is that the ability radius is too big that it will still damage your towers, so not much of a change. But with the ability, you can technically activate it with Tornado now, whereas it used to not be possible before due to his weight. The arena this month is honestly one of the most beautiful ones we have ever gotten. The sad part is that you will always play on the same side instead of having it change based on true blue and true red. Here are these sound effects. Part of me thinks this hero will make people overcommit and auto-lose the game in single elixir, so I'm not really that worried. But the other side of me is afraid of how broken this thing will be in sudden death, my dudes.